Well, it should be starting. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Nice good evening. And so we have a couple of people. We have Shredder and we have Mrs. Ash's dad. Wait, this is James. Hello. And then again Laura. All right.
Hello again.
Oh, and Amy. Sorry. Okay. So Trevor, I heard that you learned a little Japanese before. Yeah? Learned some Hiragana? Maybe? No? Okay. Alright. You've seen them before though, right? Yeah? Okay. You've seen them. You don't maybe not know them, but you've seen them. Alright. Well, so we're on lesson 4. So this lesson is about the S line. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. Did you do that last week? Oh, you did that last week. I think that's a misprint in the book. Oh, before this lesson. Okay, got it. I should probably go back to square one and start reading stuff. Reading the instructions. Okay. So last lesson we went over the S line. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Za, ji, zu, ze, zo. And understood it, or we went over the particle no and ga. No is a possessive particle. So you'd say like Brandon no teru, which means Brandon's table. So you'd say the possessor, no, and then the object. And that makes it possessive. So it's sort of like in Spanish, if you were doing Spanish. So like Brandon no mochila, Brandon's backpack. Let's see. Just the last vocabulary words. Alright. So in this lesson, we're going to learn about colors. We're going to learn the two-line. And we're going to learn how to use the Japanese form of in. Which is actually a letter in the two-line. Alright. So we're going to start with the vocabulary on the first page. Now what they've done is they've replaced the hiragana that we should have already learned with, or replaced the letter with the hiragana we should have already learned. So like the first one is nani hiro. Yeah, you can repeat after me. So nani hiro. Nani hiro. Next one, hiro, color. Next one, aka. Aka. Ao. Kuro. Shiro. Hiro. Chairo. Hiro. Orange. Now the reason that one is written all in English or Roman letters is because that's written with katakana, which is actually in the next line. So we're first going to learn hiragana, which is this chart here, and then later on we'll get into katakana. So this one you can definitely tell it's taken off the word orange, orange. So it's
Is there a reason as to why that is? Or?
I'm not sure, because you would think that they would have a native Japanese word for it, but maybe this one has just become more widely accepted. On to the next one. In A, we'll start with Murasaki, which is purple, and then Pinku, which is pink. Easy. Same with the next one. Gray. Next one. Hairo. So there's two eyes there, so the eye is drawn out. Hairo. Next one is Mizuiro. Midori. Kiniro. Giniro. And Tomei. So kin actually means gold, like as in the metal. So when you go to kin iro, it's sort of like gold color, because iro is color. Same with silver, yin iro. And here's an interesting thing. Friday in Japanese is actually kinyobi, which literally translates to gold day or payday. So, yeah. Alright, now we've already sort of gone over these phrases next. The first one is excuse me, I'm sorry. Sumimasen. Sumimasen. And I am sorry or forgive me or just anything along those lines is gomen nasai. Alright, here's how you ask what something is in Japanese. Nihongo de nan desu ka? Nan or nani means what? Then this is just is what are that basic word. And then eigo is English. So if you ask what it is in English, eigo de nan desu ka? Now de is sort of like what it is in Spanish. You're familiar with the pub. So when you say eigo de, like of English, what is it? Eigo de nan desu ka? Yeah, now this one I didn't know before I read it. I just go on to the culture clip. They don't refer to a green apple as green. They refer to it as blue. Basically, because like when they're not ripe, they refer to it as blue. So, let's see. Green traffic lights are called blue. It's really good. It's just something that is. Alright, so let's move on to the main part of the lesson, the particle to. And we'll actually learn how to write this one with this. So I'll go ahead and put it up here. And it's exactly like the Hiragana. Okay. First line, second line. So to pretty much literally means and. Use it in a series of series. So like when you're listing off items, you'd say like apple, to, banana, to, you know, just apple and banana and so like Brandon to Rhoda and Debbie to Trevor. So it's like when you list names, you put a to in between. So it's like a list basically. Oh yeah, right there. It must come between every word in a list. So not used in sentences. So it's not used in that sense. So like, to go with their example up here, 青と紫とピンク、blue, purple, and pink. 私とあなたと田中さんと、or 田中さん. Me, you, and Tanaka-san. So it's pretty simple to use. Just gotta remember the hiragana.
So I'm going to try to handle these quickly. Go for it. So, Kino, Neko to Usagi.
Yes. And I'm going to turn the volume down on my computer. I keep on hearing myself. Okay.
I was wondering if everyone's phone number was.
Sorry. Oh, and if any of you have any questions at home, you can type your comments on the side and you can see it here. There's a little bit of lag and I don't always look up, so sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Now, as far as the particle no goes here, it's still sort of used as a possession, but you're using it to describe something. So like in the first one, they combine nihon, which is a pen, or nippon, as Japanese call it, and tabemono, which is food. So nihon no tabemono. So food of Japan, Japanese food. American cars, who wants to try it? America and kuruma.
Woo! Speaking Japanese.
There you go. So like, let's say, well, we'll get into that in just a second actually. Here we go. The very next section, using colors to describe. So we've already looked at some of the noun forms of colors, like aka is red, ao is blue, things like that. Pinku. Now, oh, there we go. It's almost the same. So, what color car? Nani hiro no kuruma. So the car's color is white, basically. And again, it's like a thought of Yoda speak. So this is like Yoda does in Star Wars. So we have a white rabbit. Shiro no usagi. Rabbit of white rabbit. Now, if you actually want to say like white rabbit, let's say looking down at the bottom, you have the color adjective forms. Shiroi. It's the third from the bottom left. So you'd say Shiroi usagi. So white rabbit. So you can sort of bypass the no and just say Shiroi usagi. Now, not all colors have that. But the E adjectives, which you sort of have to memorize, there's really no rhyme or reason of which one's an E or an U adjective. So it's sort of a pain to memorize them. But once you start using them and get used to them, it's a little bit easier. So these ones, and there are more, but these ones they list here, we'll just go over really quick. There's akai, aoi, kuroi, shiroi, chairoi, and kiroi. So you don't have to use no when you describe something. So like kiroi sweater, so yellow sweater, or aoi jacket. Or here we go. They say aoi pen, which is a blue pen. Akai kuruma. So so does anyone remember the word for blue? Yes. Yep. And the way I should remember that is like you get bruised, it's black and blue. So sorry, I know it's really
That's funny.
yeah, but like that's how I remember a lot of the stuff. Just making fun of it. Yeah, like atatakai is hot. So like I'm just like atatakai. Or akai is red. Actually, I don't remember. I don't remember that one.
Where we from, red?
What's that?
Understood that.
Akai. Yeah, that's the.
That was the man outside. Or, I should be
Red.
Red
is red.
actually. I'm not entirely sure, but
Well, red is a ray to be the most powerful color, and let's face it, it sounds powerful.
psychologically, red is actually very powerful.
Sounds good.
It also gives like diamonds to red. A lot of diamonds are red because of that.
Yeah, McDonald's, KFC,
Yellow and
Pizza Hut,
Both are made to make you hungry.
Wendy's has a lot of red on it. The more you think about it, the more red shows up in the fast food industry.
Apples.
True, red apples.
Red lobster. That's the name. Well,
Yeah, I've seen a blue lobster.
have you ever seen a fuzzy lobster? You see lobsters, they're white and they're fuzzy. Their claws are like this long compared to their bitty body. They're just kind of cute, so.
I have to admit, I want someone to make a plush toy once.
Right? I mean, it would be a great pillow because it would be soft and fluffy.
If TY is watching, please make deep sea lobster plushies. That would be fine.
So remember, kawaii is like cute, things like that, and
I
kawaii
was quite a video
is scary.
yet.
So be very
The
careful.
joke is, the joke is. My most kawaii Disney princesses.
Not both ones. Yeah,
Double
kawaii.
princess.
It's
Yeah. Why not the medium on the internet?
there's actually two eyes on the inside of the kawaii. And then there's kawaii.
Kawaii.
Yeah, kawaii is cute. And kawaii is scary.
Sad.
I just thought it was the silliest idea I've ever seen. Literally had two sisters, one full Hawaii and one full Hawaii. Like they're identical, just there as way to carry themselves in each other. I was
I
like,
did it. One to be like, hey, you should be from Silent Hill, and the other one to be like, hey, you're the cute little girl from the movie.
one's like super teenage princess Moe Moe. The other one's oh yandere.
Aka or Akai. Yeah, and that's Aka or Akai. That's actually spelled out in there's Akai, and then there's Akai. Akai is just sort of using it as an adjective. So like Akai Jakudo or Koko. And then Aka is just red, the color red.
Well, I think I can think of a way to do that. Red. Fire is very pretty.
Oh, there we go. All right, so let's read through these other ones really quick at the bottom on page 83 on the Q&A. Okay, so I'll say the English and then say the Japanese and then just repeat the Japanese after me. What color is it? And I'll break it up a little bit too, the longer sentences. Nani iro desu ka?
Yes, yeah.
It's black. Kuro desu.
Kuro desu.
It's pink. Pinku desu.
Pinku desu.
It's purple and orange. Murasaki.
Murasaki.
So orange desu.
Orange desu.
What color is it? Nani iru
Nani iru
no kuruma
no kuruma
desu ka?
desu ka?
It's a green car. Midori no kuruma desu.
Midori no kuruma desu.
It's a red and blue car. Yeah, you don't have to repeat that. Aka to ao
Aka to ao
no kuruma desu.
no kuruma desu.
If you haven't guessed it, kuruma is
My mind is blown.
car. It's a yellow car. Oh gosh, I forget yellow is actually
Taxi no kuruma desu.
Hiro no
Hiro no
kuruma desu.
kuruma desu.
And you can actually say hiroi kuruma desu. Yellow is one of those adjectives, and you can just take out the no. Just say yellow car instead of car yellow. Is your toothbrush blue? Anata no
Anata no
haburashi
haburashi
wa, that's the subject of it.
wa
Ao desu ka?
ao desu ka?
So whatever comes before wa is the subject. Or basically what we're talking about. So no, mine is white. Ie,
Ie
watashi no
kosashi no
wa
wa
shiro desu.
hiro desu.
Now notice how they dropped haburashi. So instead of saying watashi, I, or my, watashi no, my, haburashi, like, again, you do not have to repeat the subject every single time if, like, you're following along in context. So they're saying, no, mine is white. Instead of, no, my toothbrush is white. They already know you're talking about the toothbrush. No, mine is yellow. Ie,
Ie
watashi no wa
watashi no wa
hiro desu.
hiro desu.
Okay, you can sort of skip the last two. I think you get the idea. Do a lot of that. So here they get into the E. Like number two, the second one down, they say shiroides. So instead of saying shiro nowadays, they say shiroides. It's white. So when you use the E form, it really shortens it up. You don't have to say no, shiroi no mo desu. No, you can just say shiroides. Okay, let's go ahead and skip to 86. Or actually, if you want to go ahead and go to 88, we'll go about going over this line really quick. How to write it.
Excuse me.
twice in 2 weeks, y'all.
And you heard.
Oh. Okay. So in Japanese, they have a specific way of writing it called a stroke order. So they want you to write it in a specific order. So we'll start off with ta, which is the first one. Actually, let's just say them really quick. We'll just go down the line. There's ta, chi, su, te, to. And then when they add the tenten, it changes the letter to da, ji, zu, de, to. Right? So there's the a, but achi, teto, and daji, zu, de, do. Okay. Here we go. Here is ta. You start off with horizontal line. Come down to a slight curve. And then how it used to be was just watch this first instead of writing down. It used to be sort of like this. And what they really did was take out this part here. So now you have the line with a little bit of a hook, and then you come back. And it almost sort of looks like ta if you were to fill it in. There's ta. Chi is 2 lines, 2 strokes. You start off again with the horizontal, and then for the second one, you're going to come down and back around like that. And it had a little bit of an angle, and then it's basically backwards.
Which would you say is not correct?
I would say the first and the third, but the third one maybe a little bit shorter step. Yeah. And two, you may notice when it's printed out, it has like a little bit of like a sort of like a hook at the beginning almost. That comes from when they wrote it with a brush. They would sort of press it on there and then they would go on there. But when you write it, you actually just don't have to do that. You can just write it. And then actually, when you get back on page 86, you don't have to go there right now, but see how they have it all divided in the lines? That's just how people proportion it. And you'll see a lot of online guides that do that. And they tell you the stroke order on there as well. Alright, so we'll go to say, and this one's pretty easy as well. Horizontal line and long curve. I'll find that part is on. I will apply it. And then come to the particle and or the letter to. And again, that is one line at an angle, and then find your own way of writing it. Maybe it's just like in English. And it's almost like a nose. So that is ta, chi, su, te, to. Alright. So we're going to go through them like we've done before. And we're going to point to them. We're going to say what they are. And then later on, we'll go one by one. And I'll point to them and see if you know it. Alright. Here we go. It's ta, chi, su, te, to. To,
Well,
Te,
that's
Zu,
Two.
Chi, Ta. Um, If any words off the top of my head.
is that from the country or like is it another?
I think right out the pronunciations we have Ta, and then there's the normal size, the E, the Tai, Chi. There's probably kanji for it, but if you want to write it out, I'm sure someone will. Okay, so we'll go through it a few more times, and then we'll start going around the table so you can know. Alright, and they're in order. So Ta,
Chi, Su, Te, To, Ta, Su, Chi.
Okay, so we're gonna start with James. Alright?
Chi.
And you know what this one is? Yeah. Practice it a little bit. Pretty much. Okay.
Chi.
Yeah.
Te.
So, you got this. Yeah, you got it. I think we've done this before. Alright. So now we're going to switch it up a little bit. See the lines below, or the next set below it? Exact same letters, except they add a 10, 10. So this is a 10. And that's a 10, 10. Yeah, it's a 10, 10. And so that changes the pronunciation to da, ji, zu, de, do. So like when you say doko, which is where, that is do and doko, or domo, which is sort of like domo, arigato, Mr. Roboto, that sort of thing. So domo means like very much.
For some reason I knew that was coming.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really say domo arigato though.
Without thinking of that.
I was born well.
All right, so we'll go through these really quick, the same way we did ta, chi, tu, te, do, but with da, ji, zu, de, do. All right? Da, ji, zu, de, do. Da, ji, zu, de, do. And we'll go backwards. Do, de, zu, ji, da. All right. Ready? We're going to go around the table again. All right? All right.
Zu. Another
Yeah, you got it. More confident. You got it. All right. Yes. And yeah. Woo! It's like you're really giving me the same one.
No, I could have been like that as well.
Okay. If you look at the bottom of 86, a couple pages back, sorry, they have different possibles of writing, or different possible styles of writing. So they don't look all that different, but other letters can be very different. Um, like ta, remember how I said like they used to connect it that way way back in the day? Sometimes you might see people write ta in a scribble just really quickly, something like that. So sometimes it can get confusing as to what they're writing, but really after you learn these, you should be able to make it out. But most people don't write it that way. They will take time to write it out like this. Because once you get used to writing it so much, you're just going to do it. Just like us with American writing and Roman writing. I should say that they're
Especially when you're trying
We speak American here, Mr. Asaturadia.
The funny thing is, one of my first conversations with a girl in the U.S. was actually, "You speak American so well. How did you learn such good American?"
Oh my good lord.
I'm just thinking to myself, I can be polite, I can be sarcastic, or I can leave.
Do all of the above.
You're sarcastic, right?
I kind of was polite.
You can be polite and
I
sarcastic
was-
at the same
yeah.
time.
I was basically sarcastic but polite, and then I kind of left. So I did kind of do all of the above.
Yes, I was right.
all right. All right. Now we're actually going to go on to page 87 on the opposite side of that page. And I've talked about this before in earlier lessons. So James, you should probably remember this. But a lot of times when there's a double consonant, like they write, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Gakko, which is school. So when you write it out in English, it's going to look like this. Gakko. But when you write it out in Hiragana, there's ka, and then that's when you put the ga, and then a small su, and then oh, I don't think I have anyone there. Sorry. All right. So this basically means that there's a double consonant. There's two K's. And they sort of graph it out here for us in an audible spectrum. There's a bit of a space when you have a double consonant. So gakko, so instead of saying gakko, you say gakko, gakko. There's a bit of a space. So this is not written as it's not written like that, or else it'd be gatsuko, which I don't even know what that means. So they say,
Does it have a meaning, sir?
I don't know actually. I'll have to look that up. But they use what they call a chisai tsu. Chisai means small. So they make it pretty simple. So chisai tsu. What did we just learn? And it sort of gives it a space. Now, when you have Zashi. That's actually still Zashi. Zashi. I don't know what they say the S is called. I guess they sort of build it up in here. Zashi.
Okay, now that we're all practicing being around, we can go try out for the play.
I've always said I want a tumbleweed in my bag, so I expect women to just look at tumbleweed.
I dig it. You know, for someone who lives in the U.S., I have never seen a tumbleweed. But I've been out west and I've never seen a tumbleweed.
They're everywhere. The rest on the west, like, what are you saying? No, they're out where there's nothing. They just go across the highway.
I totally would put a sign up saying tumbleweed crossing. I would make a movement. I'd love to do that. Make a movement. Tumbleweed crossing sign.
I have seen a big road crossing sign. They was like a legit big road crossing sign.
Australia.
Welcome to Ohio.
Australia, I love it. These silly rumors a lot of people create that if you ever go to Australia, don't buy into this of the drop bear, which is basically demonic koalas that live in trees jump down on people. Exactly. And we give them all kinds of silly advice. Like,
Which isn't real, right?
no, it is.
To clarify, I'm sorry.
Yeah. not that we know of. And we give people all kinds of silly advice, like, corks hanging off your hat, put baby mud on your cheeks, be absolutely silent, and give all these people things. But I'll never forget going one day to a national park, and they actually had warning drop bear signs at the ranger station.
That's not the huge
You should tell them to start singing Kumbaya under their breath to calm the demon spirits.
We do have things as part of the rumor that you're supposed to try your very best if you are to speak to do so in an Australian accent. Foreign accent actually do it.
That's awesome.
That is absolutely perfect.
That's great.
Try to find it for later on. Because when my uncle came out with
I thought you were really down to the nice.
no.
Quotes from your
I don't know, I find some Australian decided and like that for better advice for the drop bears.
And knowing is half the battle.
Thank you.
One day I should just bring in one of those signs.
That would be absolutely beautiful.
Let's see if any of you can recognize this word. Based on Hiragana, everybody, right?
I feel like I should know it.
These two are from the last line, from last lesson, and this is from the third line.
Suzuki.
Yeah.
Oh.
Suzuki. And not to be confused with zoo. That's rarely ever used. It's only in a few words. Like they actually list on here Suzuku, which is written Suzuku, which means to continue or to be continued. So like a lot of the times at the end of anime or Japanese television, you put Suzuku or modern circle. That's also their period.
Especially in like the old 80s when they had that big on the street.
Yeah, they just put Suzuku.
That's what you have to it's 1917.
The best samurai.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
You've probably seen references to it here.
Probably.
I've happened to me so many times. I know it. This happened to me with Wicked. I knew every song from Wicked.
But you've never seen it.
Yeah, I knew every song. I'd actually read the book. I never put together that it was fun.
I've actually seen it, so I know every song, but I also knew every song before that.
I'm actually now cursed after finding that out because I've never been in Australia or US or anywhere where it's playing. I always seem to miss it.
I know, I
You need
really
to
want to
plan
see
it out.
it. Like,
It is
I've heard it,
amazing.
but I've never seen it. Like, I haven't seen, like, videos online of it. I just heard it.
It is the best production I've ever seen on stage, and I have seen many things on stage, including Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera.
Then, if you're watching this, I'm going to visit you in New York, and we're going to watch Wicked. Yeah, actually, Seth and Sean are there right now, playing violin and guitar. Yeah, with Kelly Casey. Yeah, I know, right? They're in the New York subway. They're in Central Station, I think. Actually, a piano or a Planova case. Or an electric
I
piano.
don't know that. It's a fun word.
The rest of the stuff on here is like pretty much homework.
Okay.
It's fill in the blank.
Actually, my favorite.
There's a short dialogue activity on page 95. Let me explain that really quick. Mr. Tanaka, Mr.
Sorry. Those are my hiccups, not like some demon possessing me. It's the drop bears. We're gonna be referencing that for the rest of forever.
Good news is there is actually a Wikipedia page as well. Want to look that?
On Perfect.
Perfect.
I haven't had the bookmarks on
Google drop bears. Do it. You won't regret it.
there. You really want.
Or the endangered tree octopus. I'm being dead serious. 100%. The endangered tree octopus.
Is that like the flying spaghetti monster?
Kind of, but not really.
We'll praise. We'll praise
People
the
don't really
Pastafarian.
worship the tree octopus. Like the flying spaghetti monster. Wearing colanders on their heads. No, seriously, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster is a real thing.
It is.
It is. The Pastafarian temple. I see you know.
It's legitimate.
It's basically because, who was that? Was that in Texas?
I think so. Some guy wanted to get his driver's license picture with a colander on his head, so he said that it was for his religion. So the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster was born.
Oh, I heard it was because they had a depiction of the Ten Commandments in the courthouse, and the guy didn't want it in there. And they're like, well, it's
It was a set of all these different little things like that. It's also just kind of a thing of established religion. It's inherently corrupt, like corrupting in the government sense. They create their own one. And it's also the only religion I can think of that has ninjas as part of their religion.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I think it's
I've actually never heard that, shockingly enough.
And anything
Drop
that's
bear.
really interesting to read and look at.
Look at his teeth. Yeah.
drop there.
Oh,
Never seen a drop there.
And this is why we aren't allowed in the same room together and try to learn things, because we learn other things that are completely unrelated. But it's a fun experience.
I know.
This is my favorite class, and I'm not getting any credit for it.
So like I said, this is for fun. This is not
That's why
super
I'm here.
strict, super.
This is why I do the homework for this class.
Well, Australian Geographic did last year to make a full day prank, stating that they had scientific proof to drop there.
Should Google preoccupied.
Was it?
Or April 1st, a few years ago, the BBC did a documentary on the pasta tree.
Yes.
You ever heard about that? Like, they tricked tons of people calling in asking for a pasta, like spray to grow their own pasta tree. Because they did a documentary showing these families growing pasta on trees. They just pretty much threw a whole bunch of pasta on trees and started like taking it down. Like the pasta harvest is in full swing. And
I mean, they're
it was-
spaghetti squash, but that's something entirely different.
Yep. Okay, the
hilarious.
Pacific
It was
Northwest
the best.
tree octopus.
Yep.
The Pacific Northwest tree octopus, Octopus paraversus, can be found in the temperate rainforest of the Olympic Peninsula, west coast of North America. The habitat lies on the eastern side of the Olympic range, adjacent to the Hood Canal. These solitary cephalopods reach an average size, measured from arm tip to mountain tip, of 30 to 38 centimeters. Unlike most of their cephalopods, tree octopuses are amphibious, spending only their early life at periods of their mating season in their ancestral aquatic environment. Because of the moistness of the rainforest, specialized skin adaptations and specialized skin adaptations are able to keep from becoming desiccated for long periods of time. I'm enjoying being the David Attenborough voice. But given the chance, they would prefer the rest of the water.
I believe it references Bigfoot at some point in time on the webpage.
Yep. It also says that they're endangered because a lot of people use them as hats.
Yep. More you know. Dying industry. Invest now. Actually, no, get out of investment for that.
I was gonna say,
That's not how investment works.
trying to bring it back, or
And that's why we need to take them out of
that's exactly what we need.
Tree occupying captivity. Then it would end up like something where you hear about people jumping into enclosures in zoos, and then they get attacked by the tree octopus and by drop bears. And it would just be a whole mess, and then it would just be like, hey, no more of these things in the zoos.
Maybe we need to pit the two against each other. Tree occupied with
What if
Fighting
we
for
could,
their own territory.
what if we could like make a supersized drop bear, so it'd be like the size of a grizzly bear, and make like a humanoid tree octopus, so it'd be like Cthulhu versus giant drop bear.
You know what? That's not as silly as you think.
Or it's like,
There are
We
people
need
that
to-
have hung out in, like koala suits and jumped from trees.
Really?
Or like out of bushes. There are friends of mine that have done that.
that's how I'd spend all of my free time in Australia.
And that's how drop is coming to me.
There was also an old Bundaberg rum commercial years and years ago. And Bundaberg rum is Australian rum, but it's got a polar bear on it for some reason.
Because YOLO, man.
Exactly, am I right? And basically, the commercial goes that there's this family having a picnic, and it's in their spot, and they've got this, I think they had Bundaberg rum. I got this. And they go and start talking about the drop bears, and the polar bear literally drops from a tree on the picnic, and the cow just sprints off.
Perfect. Polar yogi bear.
Hey, boo, let's go see the news. That was awful.
Better than what I could have done.
Yeah. Sorry, that tends to happen a lot. Okay, though. So Mr. Tanaka and Mr. Kobayashi are talking about their cars, and basically what they have you do is
We just went from
right. Oh, okay, I get it. So they have three different choices down at the bottom, and you can actually redo the conversation again. Although I think we should change it a little more. So basically, what they're saying is the first line is Tanaka-san no kuruma wa nan desu ka, which is which car is Tanaka-san's, and I think kuruma should actually be underlined here as well.
Yeah. It's basically in this case, it's like, which car is, Kuruma-san's? Let's talk about my dog.
I don't know. So, yeah, so if you guys want to underline kuruma on here and write a 1 next to it as well, because otherwise the conversation will make a lot of sense.
It'd be more interesting that
My
way.
car dog is purple.
Yeah,
That is hardcore.
Actually, I had a child that we trained every summer because she always gets super hot, and she actually drove around the house for days. She was with the line when we trained her.
Dogs I take care of on down here, like the ones the lady we run for. Her name's Elkie, and she has a bunch of the Rhodesian Ridgebacks. These dogs were used to hunt lions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you now, chaining them up is not easy.
They will drag you halfway across the before you actually
Yeah. I remember taking the oldest funny face, finally getting her back, finally chaining her up. The youngest Gizmo is freaking out, so I go over to, because she's tangled herself in the leash, she ran into it. I go to untangle her, next thing I hear this rip. I have just managed to reconnect the chain. I have just managed to fix that, and she is torn through her collar and sprinted off.
as long as it's like lay down, done for the day.
And see, if ever she broke the chain, she'd break it like right at the base of the post. So she'd be running around with like 50 feet of chain on her. I love that.
That's deadly.
At least you knew when she was coming.
That is true. Probably outrun you, but you know.
Apparently, everyone was surprised. I was, up there hitting her one day, and someone who returned from the year before. That's funny face, right? You should throw off someone's hand. I'm like, apparently. Well, I'm not petting her. I'm not stopping petting her now. Just use the dog overboard. Oh, come here.
Just in case, for number one, dog is Inu, and number 2, 1, cat is Neko. Okay, and I'll explain what the conversation is really quick. So the first one is Tanaka-san no kuruma wa nan desu ka, which is which car or which blank is Tanaka-san's, is Mr. Tanaka's. The next one, Watashi no kuruma wa Nissan desu. Anata no wa. Watashi no blank is my blank. Wa is the subject marker. And then whatever the name of the car is, or type of car, or dog, or cat, is. So the Nissan becomes the type of whatever. So you're like saying, my cat is a calico. So watashi no neko wa calico desu. And then the next line, anata no wa, right underneath that, it's saying, and yours. So anata is you, and then no is possessive. And you're already talking about a car or a cat or a dog, so you do and your. Okay. And the next one, Watashi no kuruma wa Mitsubishi desu. It's basically the exact same thing as the one right above it. My car is a Mitsubishi. And then the very next line, Iro wa aka desu. Does anyone know what that means? It's okay. We just went over the word today. Iro is color.
Red.
And then aka is red. Yep. So it's red. The color of is red, basically. So the color, wa, red is.
I think we can
I think it is too. I bet YouTube is enjoying him.
Probably.
We now have a small child and 4 women. Our ratings will multiply X. I just need to get out of the frame more.
Now you have the Australian accent. It works.
Yeah,
Reading the screen.
so we're well rounded now.
You're the narrator. That's what you do. It's like how you were reading the Office website. That was awesome.
Thank you. Anyone here ever see Planet Earth? Or Blue Planet, anything like that? One of the biggest nature documentary makers of all time, Sir David Attenborough. I've always been fascinated with he could say anything and he would calm you down. He's like Morgan Freeman of British accents.
Oh yeah. You can say anything to make it sound interesting and calming.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, and finishing up, the last 2 lines. So desu ka? And that's sort of like, oh, okay, oh, I see. So desu ka? And the ka is sort of like a question, or ka is a question mark basically in Japanese. It turns it into a question, but it's like, oh, isn't it, or is it? You know, it's just sort of that general expression. There's really no direct translation. And then, watashi no kuruma wa shiro desu. My car is white. And very last thing on page 97, I'm just going to read through the rest of this vocabulary really quick, just so we have a basic idea of what it sounds like. And then you can just sort of follow up with koku, spoon, U is drawn out, same as in boku or oku. O is basically making it a formal noun in this. Like sushi is actually o sushi.
Yeah.
It just makes it very formal, very old. So I'm just going to drop the O on this. Kira,
Yeah.
chawa,
Ciao.
hashi, yesogo, toke,
Okay.
terebi,
Kennedy.
so simple, TV, zubon, kutsu,
Kutsu.
shinbu. All right. Woo! So if you guys would like, I have some mochi to try. And if you want to take home a couple pairs of chopsticks, you can. I got 40 of them here.
That's delightful.
They're the kind you have to break apart too, so the kind you can never get even. It's my OCD cooking it.
Oh, yeah. I think they have
Yeah. I still think it's they say you get good luck if you can break it exactly. And I didn't.
Sort of like a wishbone.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something to do.
I mean, Japanese Thanksgiving.
Did you really? Oh, good. Oh, so close. You almost had it. It's almost there.
My sister gets it every time. I'm just looking at
I'm just kind of waiting to begin with, so.
Now you do not have to do this. You do not want to.
Bad day.
Okay.
And I actually just found out last night at Walmart, you know, all like the little Haagen-Dazs ice cream, they have green tea ice cream.
They have that at
Absolute
Walmart?
favorite of all time.
Yeah, my roommate is gonna get a weird introduction to the right room. It's like,
Soft serve green tea ice cream.
That sounds delicious.
They don't have soft serve at Walmart, but still.
Where did you get stuff to? Just checking.
They just have like little street vendors that sell green tea ice cream on it. Yeah. Well, you don't have to use chopsticks for this.
But I want
You can if you want to.
Don't tell me how to live my life. No, I want to.
You can have more than one fan.
I really want to know where your stuff for real, like.
oh, we still use steaks in this guy. I'm from Sydney, right in the middle, actually. Right in the middle.
Yeah, they got sort of like a creamy center, but they're very chewy. So you might want to bite them off a little bit at a time. So let's see what Tato is.
Yeah. I don't know, wait.
Everyone here from defines itself, or
Sort of. Well, I was born in Columbus. I was born in Denver. I'm in Denver.
well, everyone of me has like, you know, things on like sound impressive. Remember, I'm from Australia. Anything's impressive. In fact, my first year of being here, I'm not kidding. Every time I saw a squirrel, I'm like,
I've never seen a black squirrel until I came to find it.
Really? People say that a lot. She said, really?
It's a root.
See, where I come from, albinos.
It's the occasional one.
It's really great.
Squirrel with a black body and a bright tail. Yeah.
and the squirrels that are common where I come from, or ones that and that never happened to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, the town of Lucia.
Yeah.
About Sydney, something that I would that a native would have to know about. I mean, I think of culture.
Is P. Sherman 42 Walls in Sydney a real place?
Yes.
Awesome.
There's actually a few Wallaby Ways in Sydney, and one person actually did purposely buy it to make it this.
Oh, that is
Yeah, it's nowhere near the harbor, but still.
okay.
Well, they could if they tried. But then they would just be sizzling. Let's see.
Max.
Good, let's see. Good facts. Despite the harbor, you saying the harbor's up and everyone would expect it to be very open to the ocean, there really is only a small head to the harbor.
Turn off YouTube now.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
We have an extremely large immigrant population.